In 2010, more than 32,000 people died in motor vehicle traffic crashes in the United States, the lowest number of fatalities since 1949. And despite the best efforts of law enforcement, traffic experts, and advocates to address the safety of motorcycles and their riders, motorcyclist fatalities have more than doubled since 1997. John Coyle is the law enforcement liaison for the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration in Region 2. He joins us to talk about these statistics.
In the United States, motorcyclist fatalities increased 11 straight years, from over 2,100 in 1997 to more than 5,300 in 2008, which was the highest number since the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has been tracking highway fatality data. Although motorcycle fatalities decreased in 2009 to approximately 4,400, they rose again in 2010 to over 4,500.
Peter Miller has been a motorcyclist for more than 40 years. The former police chief and motor officer has been teaching motorcycle safety and enforcement in New York and nationally for the past 7 years.
This workshop will introduce you to the national and state-specific motorcycle issues. National and state statistics both reflect a disproportionate number of motorcycle fatalities relative to the number of vehicles on the highway. Motorcycles represent about 15% of all motor vehicle fatalities, yet they comprise only 3% of all registered vehicles.
For NHTSA and its state highway safety partners, motorcycle safety is considered to be a high priority issue, and we have much more work to do in this area. In an effort to both educate law enforcement and reduce motorcycle fatalities and injuries, a cooperative agreement was awarded by the Department of Transportation, NHTSA, to the International Association of Directors of Law Enforcement Standards and Training to develop a motorcycle safety and enforcement training program for law enforcement.
This material will be covered through an active training workshop environment. We will use a variety of formats that encourage discussion and participation that will take advantage of the experiences of the participants.
In 2011, IATLAS trained a cadre of instructors for Region 2. This course is intended for law enforcement officers and others working in the area of motorcycle safety who want to, first of all, plan, sponsor, and implement motorcycle safety and prevention programs for community law enforcement projects, and to increase skills for teaching motorcycle safety training, public education, and conducting enforcement details. The goal of this course is to understand that enforcement of motorcycle laws has a direct correlation with reducing the number of motorcycle fatalities and injuries.
So what are the issues of motorcycle safety and enforcement? Motorist awareness for motorcycles is one. Rider experience is a significant factor in motorcycle crashes. More than 25% of motorcyclists involved in fatal crashes are not licensed to operate a motorcycle. Impaired operation is more prevalent in motorcycle crashes than it is in cars and light trucks. 29% of motorcycle fatalities involve an operator with a BAC of 0.08 or higher. DWAI numbers are equally high. 64% of motorcyclists killed in single vehicle crashes on weekend nights have a BAC of 0.08 or higher. So how can you become more involved to reduce the number of crashes, injuries, and fatalities? By knowing the facts and laws specific to motorcycles in your state. Learn to develop the probable cause necessary to stop motorcyclists who may be in violation of the law. In the workshop, we discuss best practices to reduce motorcycle crashes, injuries, and deaths. Best practices include education of motorists to be more aware of motorcycles. We emphasize to motorcyclists the importance of being conspicuous to motorists, stress how important it is to wear good protective equipment every time they ride. Enforcement is the second part of best practices to help minimize crashes, injuries, and deaths. No one can deny the efforts that went into the public awareness and education campaigns about using seatbelts. The most effective results to gain compliance, however, came from enforcement of seatbelt laws. The same can be said for enforcement of laws relating to motorcycle safety. The critical enforcement issues that will be covered in this motorcycle course include officer and motorcyclist safety. You'll get a primer on who rides motorcycles today, information about motorcycle gangs, types of motorcycles, and enforcement issues commonly related to each category. Strategies for stopping motorcycles and avoiding pursuits will be discussed. You will learn techniques and methods to keep you and the motorcyclist safe during the stop. Motorcycle laws, there'll be a thorough review of the vehicle and traffic laws specific to motorcycles. Required motorcycle equipment. Do you know what equipment is required for the motorcyclist, his passenger, his motorcycle? How do you determine if an exhaust system is too loud? A review of required equipment is provided in this presentation. Licensing, motorcycle endorsements. Understand what endorsements are required for motorcycles, mopeds, and scooters. Know the limitations of a motorcycle permit. DUI, DWI, impairment. How many arrests for DWI have you made involving a motorcyclist? If you're like most law enforcement officers, few if any. This course will show you strategies and cues for detecting the impaired motorcycle operator. Non-compliant helmets. New York requires all motorcyclists to wear helmets, yet an estimated 15 to 20% of helmets used are not DOT compliant. These helmets are illegal and afford the rider very little, if any, protection in a crash. You will learn how to easily identify these helmets. And finally, we will discuss safety programs, motorcycle training classes, and public safety campaigns used in the United States and other countries that seem to have a positive impact on increasing motorcycle safety. Also, the number of crashes and fatalities are frightening, and most people aren't aware of that, including many law enforcement officers. When they start seeing these staggering numbers, they really pay attention.
So this training program for motorcycle safety and enforcement gives them the tools to feel confident to make that motor vehicle stop, to see that violation. They're trained to see that violation now, make the stop, and perhaps take an impaired driver off the road.
For more information on how to establish a training class in your area, call Suzanne O'Hearn at the New Jersey Division of Highway Safety at 609-633-9197. Or you can call your regional NHTSA representative, John Coyle, at 609-513-4737.